Welcome to the Methodcast, where we explore the methods that help people change their lives. Today, we're diving deep into two powerful books that offer unique approaches to overcoming addiction: EasyPeasy and the Whitebook from Sexaholics Anonymous. Both of these books tackle the struggle of addiction, specifically focusing on pornography and sexual compulsions. But they do it in very different ways. One is rooted in psychology and logic, the other in spirituality and community support. So, if you or someone you know is looking for a way out of addiction, this episode is for you. Let's start with EasyPeasy. This book is based on the famous Easy Way method developed by Alan Carr, originally for quitting smoking. The idea behind EasyPeasy is that addiction isn't about willpower. It's about how we perceive the thing we're addicted to. Most people think quitting an addiction means fighting urges, resisting temptation, and enduring a miserable withdrawal period. EasyPeasy flips that idea upside down. It says that the reason quitting feels hard isn't because of the addiction itself, it's because of the fear of quitting. The fear that life without porn will be boring, that you'll be missing out, or that you won't be able to cope with stress. But once you understand that this fear is an illusion, quitting becomes easy. The book introduces the concept of the sinister trap. It explains that pornography, like smoking or drinking, starts out as something seemingly harmless. Just curiosity, just a bit of fun. But over time, it becomes something else. It starts to take control. Users find themselves watching more extreme content, needing more stimulation, and spending hours chasing that perfect video. And the worst part? They don't even enjoy it anymore. It's just a compulsion. Then there's the little monster, as EasyPeasy calls it. The little monster is that nagging feeling that tells you just one more time won't hurt. It's the voice that keeps you coming back even when you know you don't want to. But here's the trick. The monster isn't real. It's just a mental illusion. And once you see through it, quitting isn't about suffering. It's about feeling free. Now, let's contrast that with the Whitebook. This book is the foundation of Sexaholics Anonymous, which is based on the 12-step program used by Alcoholics Anonymous. Unlike EasyPeasy, which is all about changing your mindset, the Whitebook is about surrendering to a higher power and finding healing through community. The book starts with a raw, honest look at what it means to be addicted to lust. It describes the cycle of addiction, how it starts with feelings of inadequacy, loneliness, and fear, and how those emotions drive people toward destructive behaviors. At first, it feels like an escape, but over time, it becomes a prison. Relationships suffer, self-respect erodes, and what once seemed like a harmless habit turns into something that controls every aspect of life. The core belief in the Whitebook is that addiction isn't just a habit, it's a spiritual sickness. And the only way to truly recover is to admit that you are powerless over it. That's where the 12 steps come in. Step 1 is admitting you have no control. Step 2 is believing that a higher power, whatever that may be, can restore you. Step 3 is surrendering your will and your life to that power. Now let's take a moment to really unpack the difference between these two approaches. EasyPeasy says you don't need willpower because there's nothing to fight against. It's not about avoiding temptation. It's about realizing that temptation is a lie, that the addiction doesn't actually give you anything, so there's nothing to miss when you quit. But the Whitebook takes a different view. It says that addiction is bigger than you, that lust has taken over your mind, and the only way out is to surrender. While EasyPeasy tells you to dismantle the addiction by seeing it for what it is, the Whitebook tells you to hand it over to a higher power and let that power take care of it. And then there's the issue of community. EasyPeasy is designed to be read alone. It doesn't encourage support groups or meetings. It believes that quitting is an internal process. You change your perspective, and the addiction falls away. But the Whitebook says that isolation is part of the problem. It emphasizes the importance of meetings, of having a sponsor, of being accountable to others who have been through the same struggle. So, which method is better? Well, that depends on the person. If you're someone who likes to figure things out logically, who doesn't resonate with spiritual concepts, and who wants a method that doesn't rely on external support, EasyPeasy might be the perfect fit. It's straightforward, practical, and for many people, incredibly effective. But if you're someone who has tried to quit before and failed, who feels overwhelmed by the power of addiction, or who thrives in a community setting, the Whitebook and the 12-step program might be what you need. It offers structure, guidance, and the support of people who truly understand what you're going through. There's also the question of identity. EasyPeasy does not use labels like addict. It doesn't ask you to see yourself as powerless. It encourages you to see yourself as free the moment you change your mindset. The Whitebook, on the other hand, asks you to fully embrace the fact that you are an addict, that you will always be an addict. That recovery is a lifelong process. This difference is huge. Some people find empowerment in knowing they are never truly cured, that they will always need to work on their sobriety, one day at a time. Others find that idea discouraging and prefer to believe that they can walk away from addiction completely. And then there's the way each book approaches the idea of relapse. EasyPeasy teaches that once you understand the truth about addiction, you won't relapse because you won't want to. The Whitebook takes a more cautious approach. It acknowledges that relapse is common and provides steps for getting back on track. So, where does that leave us? If you're listening to this and struggling with addiction, the most important thing to know is that you are not alone. Whether you choose EasyPeasy, the Whitebook, or some combination of both, the key to recovery is understanding that change is possible, that you don't have to stay stuck, that life without addiction isn't just bearable, it's better. For some, the path is a mental shift, realizing that the addiction was never giving them anything of value in the first place. For others, it's about surrender, accepting that they can't do it alone and finding strength in a higher power and a community of support. At the end of the day, there is no one-size-fits-all approach. The method that works for you is the one that speaks to you, the one that gives you hope. So if you're struggling, keep searching, keep learning, and most importantly, don't give up. That's it for today's episode of the Methodcast. If you found this discussion helpful, share it with someone who might need it. And if you have experience with either of these methods, I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can reach out on social media or leave a comment wherever you listen to podcasts. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, the right method can change your life. I hope this conversation has given you some clarity and encouragement. If you found it helpful, share it with someone who might need it. Remember, freedom is closer than you think. Until next time, take care, stay hopeful, and keep moving forward toward the life you deserve.